I think I had just found out that they were doing a hiring freeze, so I was thinking that I was going to get hired for my internship, but then they were like, never mind, we're not hiring anyone.
The death toll surpasses the SARS outbreak that killed 774 people worldwide.
Spring break forever. Unfortunately, we're still on spring break.
If we are complacent and don't do really aggressive containment and mitigation, the number could go way up, many, many millions.
My whole plan was to, get a job right after college in a big advertising agency.
When COVID hit, I was like, oh my God, all right, I guess I have no chance now.
The U.S. is reporting more than 20,000 deaths, surpassing Italy as the country with the most fatalities.
I don't think anyone was really expecting it, and I certainly wasn't, or I wasn't expecting it to last more than August.
COVID-19 safety measures have put the nation's economy essentially on pause.
4.4 million people applied for unemployment benefits last week. That brings the tally for the last 5 weeks to more than 26 million Americans.
Things really just did not go well, so I didn't really have a job. And because I'm an international student, I'm originally from Hong Kong, I had a timeline when I had to get a job.
I do remember sending them an article about a similar group of students at UT, University of Texas, Austin, that started an agency upon graduation. So that may have been kind of the initial spark that got them interested in this really crazy idea. No one does this.
Anyone want to volunteer to go next? We can do influencers.
Cool. So I started the second round of influencer outreach on Monday. I reached out to 10, but I think I'm going to add a few more next week. So I think I've gotten most of them said yes. Some wanted money or would only do stories. But
We were all a part of the M School at LMU, which, should I explain what it is? So the M School is a specialized marketing program at LMU that specializes in advertising specifically, and it's a 2-year program that you have to get into, and there's about 20 people in our classes, and we have all of our classes with the same 20 people for 2 years, basically. We had worked together before, we've done a lot of group projects, a lot of things in the advertising field, and kind of prepping us for working for an agency. So we already knew we worked well together, and then our professors were the ones that were like, you guys are already doing all the things you need to do for an agency.
I had known that I always wanted to start my own business. I just didn't think it would happen at 21 years old. I was thinking more like 30 when I had, higher capital and I could, do something with a bigger plan. But I'm a firm believer if an opportunity comes to you, you're just gonna have to take it.
I think I absolutely knew. Once they committed to the idea, I knew they would be successful. And it was just really a question of how their success would play out. They had a really nice relationship with an owner of a co-working space at El Camp in El Segundo, which is where they ended up setting shop, if you could call what they did, when they set up physical space to what extent they could during COVID. I knew they would be successful. It was just a matter of how much they were going to learn along the way. They're really a great blend or mix of creativity and strategy.
We kind of all wear different hats. I am a creative director on some of our clients.
I am our head of PR.
My main roles with 98 is being the account director.
Mainly what I do is creative direction.
I am an associate for 98.
Finance.
I'm supporting our new biz team.
Web design and graphic design.
Video editing.
I manage some client accounts.
HR.
Project managers.
Graphic design.
The social media strategy.
And accounting.
New business a little bit.
Our Discord.
Brand strategy.
Web development and design.
I run our TikTok.
Research and strategy.
So I created our website.
Photography, graphic design.
And social media.
What else do I manage?
A lot of titles.
They, going into this, we all knew that they had the kind of the mindset and the talents and the skills to make it happen. It was just a question of, did they have the tenacity and the perseverance?
After our first pitch, definitely gave us a very good feeling about how the company was going to go.
We just made a whole deck with mock-ups and everything. It was really interesting for us because it was our first time working together but apart. And I think it was a moment that everyone kind of refers back to as like the moment.
From there, like we realized like from the feedback that we got, like we really did have something special.
We got this.
We know as a generation what we want to see in our leaders.
Creative, connected, passionate, diverse, adaptable,
unique,
unapologetic,
outspoken,
transparent,
entrepreneurial,
self-starters,
intuitive,
socially conscious,
change makers.
When it comes to, starting a startup, no one's going to believe you or believe in you and what you're doing more than yourself. And that's like the hardest thing. Believing in yourself, believing in your company and what you are trying to achieve.
Sometimes when I tell people about it, I downplay our achievements and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing that, like I have an agency, like whatever, but it is kind of a big deal that, we're all 20, 22, 21, whatever, like starting our own business and being the owners of an agency that is successful, so I think it's easy, especially because I'm so young and don't have a ton of experience and I'm just learning new things every day. It's easy to kind of downplay my achievements and what I'm doing and kind of be hard on myself sometimes when I don't know what I'm doing. But I think it's just like realizing that no one ever really knows what they're doing, and it's just, that's okay.
The first time we ever worked together after the pitch was really to solidify the company from, making sure our logo was intact. We had our bank set up, all our legal licenses together. We really didn't know what we were doing.
What took the longest was probably the name. We wanted to be called, we were almost going to be called Agency. We were just throwing ideas around, and I don't remember who asked. It was just like, when were you guys born? And we were all born in the year 98, even though we were kind of all different ages. We were all born in 1998. It's the atomic number for Californium, which works out too, because we were born as a company in California, even though we're all from all over the world.
At the beginning, I didn't think this was going to be legitimate or this wasn't going to be full-time. But as time went on, as it became more legitimate, as clients started coming in, that's when everything became more real.
Gen Z in general, as a generation, is so looked down upon by the older people, by the older generations, and so it's really hard to, get them to take you seriously.
A couple of the first CEOs that we pitched to actually told us to our faces that our generation wasn't important enough to be marketed to.
So I think I actually saw them from either a LinkedIn post or somewhere online, as I really wanted something different. There's a lot of marketing companies out there. Obviously, there's a lot more established ones as well. But the perks of being a startup, especially a small company, and even if it's a student-run company, is, for me as a business owner, I get all of the attention.
I appreciated their intake process of letting us talk through who we are and what we're looking for, rather than just kind of selling us on their services and their packages. We have a very specific need, and we're in a very specific stage as a company. So they were extremely, I would say, empathetic of where we were and understood where we were.
So I wanted that fresh, young, new look, and honestly, they provided it. So I was actually eager to work with a young company and young people like that.
We need like 60 something. I got like a few more from my friends, but I asked my friends from home, but they're asleep, so I have to wait till tonight.
When's the deadline for this?
Tomorrow.
Ooh.
I mean, what happens if we
A startup is already a job that you take home with you, and when you're working from home, you're always home, so your life is your job, basically. And I feel like I think about my job more than anything else.
We still have a work-life balance and we still have time away from work.
One issue I have with working from home is that sometimes I feel like I work longer or I just don't ever stop. My computer's on my bed, I eat a meal, I come back, my laptop's there, like I have a Slack message, like there's just no boundaries in that sense.
put a little screenshot or something.
Mm-hmm. And for
was like a little bit more complicated than I had imagined. Me and my parents were all like crammed into one apartment. We didn't have enough space to have our own meetings, and a lot of times like we would have to like talk over each other, or one of us would go into like the bathroom to take calls.
I know I can be more productive at home, and I think that's just what I've learned over the past year is I like being in my own space, but also I need that social interaction and exposure to real life. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit in my bed for a week straight without realizing that life is just passing me by.
If I'm being completely honest, like, I don't think 98 would have existed without COVID. When COVID like hit the world or came into the world, everyone kind of let it dictate what happened next. Like, you can't go out, you're working from home, like, because of COVID, this. But I think we took it as an opportunity to take action. We have the skills, we have the abilities, we have a team, we're passionate, we're young, we're hungry.
I hope we don't fail. That would suck, but at the same time, like, I think we're doing a great thing, and I think if we inspire someone to pursue what they're passionate about, even if there's a chance of failing, that's a success.
We have plans for like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what we want to be, what we want to do, but things are always changing. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
I am not from the United States, so I will be leaving the country in September due to visa issues. So I'm really hoping that 98 will become a global consulting, Gen Z consulting firm. That's really the goal I have in mind, and I'm like 100% committed to make it happen.
If COVID didn't happen, I feel like I would be in a corporate job doing kind of grunt work, things that I don't really feel passionate about, things that are kind of, you know, shitty, basically. It's really great having this experience right now so that I could go into other positions or jobs in the future.
We started from scratch, and we make money, and people trust us and hire us. So that's a win for sure, because I feel like a lot of businesses will start and no one will take them seriously, especially people our age. So we've been lucky to have people who trust us.